What's up, fight fans? Mr. Mustache here. UFC 289 has wrapped. Amanda Nunes successfully defended her belt and subsequently retired. Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira showed us why he's still the number one contender in the lightweight division. The world now knows who Mike Malott is in the welterweight division, and so on and so forth. We're going to get into it right here. Mr. Mustache, MMA News. Guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. All right, getting right into it. Starting at the top, Amanda Nunes defeated Irene Aldana, successfully defending her belt via decision in an absolute domination, where she just showed she is the best. No one is really close to her. As a result, she subsequently retired. She did kind of hint at it that she wanted to fight again, where she just didn't want to leave the belt to Juliana Pena. But then again, I think Juliana's going to fight for the belt anyway, so I don't really know why she would even make that statement. But she did hint at retirement before this fight happened. So I kind of saw that coming. She made a huge thing of it too, so I kind of hope she kind of stays retired, because it's like the whole celebration that she did after the fight was kind of cringeworthy. For her career, it's totally worth it, and she totally earned that right to do what she did. But it's like, stay away then, otherwise you're going to look like Brett Favre. But she went out there, dominated Irene. Yeah, she got caught a couple times, and I even kind of said that in my preview for the fight and my breakdown for the fight, that don't sleep on Aldana's hands. She definitely has some slick boxing. And she had very brief moments of success where Amanda was very cocky, overconfident, and and rightfully so. She was landing on Irene like crazy. She was almost at will as well. Irene just kind of had her hands up the whole fight and just didn't put up too much of a game plan. Just thought she'd, take shots and give them back. But she just gave Amanda way too many shots. She let herself get hit way too often, and Amanda ran away with the victory there. Now with her retiring, it's going to leave women's MMA as a whole is going to be kind of different now, because she really has been the face of women's MMA for about the last 5-6 years, and I think they're going to hurt as a result of it. It's going to give time for the UFC to kind of build up some of these other girls like Erin Blanchfield and such, but it really just shows like the next wave of women's MMA is here to come, and the torch is going to be passed, and I'm curious to see who's going to stand out. I think Juliana Pena is the clear number one contender. Maybe her and Aldana if Aldana heals up, but she took a lot of damage, a lot of brain damage in that fight, so I'm assuming she might take some time off. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do, because now the featherweight division, if they're going to get rid of the featherweight division, because there really isn't anything going on there as it is, and yeah, there's a lot of things that are probably going to have to unfold. I'm sure the UFC are kind of bummed out over this whole situation. But hey, Amanda, thank you for everything. You have been a phenomenal fighter, the greatest female fighter of all time, without a doubt. That fight against Cyborg, I think, honestly, showcased everything about it, where she was able to stand up against the female giant at the time of MMA and take her out within 1 minute. That was so exciting and just so decisive, and it was just like, holy fuck. That fight, her against Cyborg, was one of my favorite moments in all of MMA history. That was a really cool moment. I was even though I was such a fan of Cyborg as well, but just for Amanda in that moment, that was one of the greatest moments, I think, in MMA history. So Amanda, whatever you do next, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Apparently, her wife Nina has said that she's going to come back now that they've had the baby. She's going to work back on maybe making a comeback for herself. So maybe Amanda's going to kind of maybe take a back seat and play trainer. That'll be pretty cool to see, pretty interesting to see. But anyways, future Hall of Fame career for Amanda Nunes, so thank you for everything you've done. Moving on to the co-main event, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira defeats Beneil Dariush TKO in the first round in just a surprisingly dominant performance. Listen, I always sleep on Charles, and then he always just beats everybody, and then the second I don't sleep on Charles, he gets beat by Islam. So I've been riding high on Benny, though, for a long time now. I've been a fan for such a long time. But Charles just, I even said, if Charles was the Charles of before that Islam fight, it was going to be a really long night for Benny. It was going to be a tough fight for him. And that's exactly what we got. We got a Charles who would not be denied. Strong, quick, efficient. He just looks so sharp. And literally he looks so big for the weight class. And it's crazy just to fight at featherweight to even think about it. He's filled out so much. He just looks so big, strong, fast. Every time he touched Benny, he was hurting him. he just overwhelmed him, and Dariush was not able to find his footing to start, and it was a really impressive performance by Charles. And Benny, world class guy, super classy dude, show class in defeat. I thought he was going to retire there for half a second, but I'm happy he's not. So he's just going to have to go back to the drawing board, maybe take some time off, figure out what he's going to do next, because they fucking took him an 8-fight win streak just to get the title eliminator fight. So he's going to have to go out there and put on another win streak. So hopefully he takes some time off and puts on and formulates a really good game plan for himself. Charles Oliveira obviously is going to be probably given the immediate rematch to Islam Makhachev in the near future here, and rightfully so. I mean, what he's done before the Islam fight, before losing the belt, he was already being considered the greatest lightweight champion of all time, the greatest lightweight fighter of all time. He definitely, in my opinion, went on the greatest career comeback, career turnaround streak of all time in the lightweight division. I mean, he went through absolutely everybody and finished almost everybody in spectacular fashion. And if he wasn't finishing them, he was dominating them, like that fight with Tony Ferguson. I mean, that was just hard to watch. What Charles has done is just nothing short of astonishing and phenomenal, and what he's been able to put together throughout his career. Now he's equalizing it with the stand-up and just his heart, his will, his determination. He's strong. He's just built like he's just a fucking tank. And I can't wait for this rematch, and he's rightfully earned it. He went out there and made the statement that he needed to make, because people out there like myself are starting to doubt him again. Maybe we thought to see the Charles of old would come out, but nope. The Charles of new is here to stay, and I can't wait to see this rematch against Islam. Moving forward, we have Mike Malott defeating Adam Fugit, submission, second round. For the first time in a long time, we see Mike Malott get out of the first round, but in a fight where he was taking a little bit of shots, but he was just landing at will on Adam, and just showed that there's levels to this game and that he was levels above him, especially even on Saturday night. And he had that phenomenal knockdown and followed it up with the ground to get the submission victory. And Mike, I mean, he just looks sharp. He looks good. He's representing Canada well. The UFC obviously likes him. That's why they put him on the main card. That's why I've been talking about it for a little bit now. I've been a fan of the guy. He goes out there, he puts on a good performance. He looks good. He's got great technique. He goes out there and tries to put on finishes and put on exciting performances. So to see Mike Malott go out there and dominate again in Canada, hometown, they were showing him the love. So that was really cool to see. So, but it's going to be off to the races for Mike. You know, I can see him going against guys like Gunnar Nelson next. Ian Gary, Brian Battle, Chaos Williams, Matthew Semmelsberger, guys like that, Alex Morono. Next up, you're going to see Mike Malott taking on the legit of the legit top 15, top 20 guys in the welterweight division. I think you're going to see next for him. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen for him moving forward. Mike Malott, super prospect right now for the UFC welterweight division. Guys need to watch out for that dude. Next up, Dan Ige defeated Nate Landwehr by decision in a grueling fight where he really had to go out there and show that he was a tactician. He had to stay on his bicycle, make Nate miss. Nate was going out there and just being the train. He really wears that nickname on him. You know, I mean, he is literally a train. And Dan played the Matador perfectly in that fight and had to use his technique and get on his bicycle, his lateral movements, and just really counter strike and show that he's not going to go out there and just put his, just bite down his mouthpiece and just bang it out. He's not going to do that. He's going to go out there and show why he's levels above these guys. And Nate, he put on a good effort, but he only had that go. He only saw red, and was just kind of, it led to his downfall. And that kind of has been so far in his past, but you've seen it to where he's able to use that to break people, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work good, and you don't really see a plan B out of him. So I'd like to see moving forward a little bit more of a tactical Nate Landwehr, because he has all of those abilities on the ground, the wrestling, the striking, the one-touch power, the cardio, the heart, the will, the chin. He's got it all. He just has to be able to pick it a little better and not chase it so much. But phenomenal performance by Danny Ige. He says he wants to, kind of build a streak a little bit again. work his way back up slowly before he goes against those top 5 guys again. And with him going against a guy like Nate Landwehr, that kind of puts him right in that trajectory. And but the UFC always hates it when guys do that, so they might probably give him a tough opponent anyways, probably like some super killer featherweight prospect. That's probably what I'm going to see next for Dan Ige. But he's going out there, he's putting on really good performances. That's 2 in a row now for Dan Ige. Dan 50K Ige. Next up, we had the middleweight fight between Marc-Andre Barriault and Eric Anders. Guys, I can't comment on this fight. I unfortunately had to let my lady watch the Panthers game in the finals, and so that was one fight that I actually missed. So I was not able to watch that fight, but that's a big win for Marc-Andre for unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board against a really tough guy in Eric Anders, but that's really can't really comment on the fight itself. I missed it. But moving forward to the prelims, we had Nasruddin Imavov and Chris Curtis fall to a no contest via accidental headbutt, which it was an accidental headbutt, and it was a nasty one. You know, fucking cut Curtis's eye wide open. He was bleeding good. You could tell he was just really out of it after that. He wanted to be in it so bad, but you could just tell he just wasn't really all there, and he wasn't good enough to fight, and he just couldn't lie enough to let them have it keep going. But honestly, I think that was the best thing for them to stop this fight, maybe let them do it again in the future, because I don't think it would have ended well for Chris. The way that his body language was he just wasn't in the fight anymore. And with Nasruddin not being as hurt, especially from a headbutt, I think would have capitalized off that, and I don't think it would have been good for Chris Curtis. So I think the right thing happened. They stopped the fight, they ended it, called it a no contest, and that these guys could probably play it again moving forward, right? But they were both landing shots. Nasruddin, I think, was landing the more creative shots, straighter shots. Chris was just kind of just moving forward a little bit, but that's kind of his style. He's willing to definitely take a few to give one. That's always been Chris's style, and that was kind of the case what we saw in that fight. But it was a weird fight to say. I mean, I'd say it was edging a little bit towards Imavov, but Chris, all he needs is that one shot. You know, he delivers a lot of pack and a lot of punch. So I hope that they rematch this fight a couple months in the future. That'll be cool to see. But I was really unfortunate to see that happen for Chris and Imavov. Next up, we had Jazz Duvicius defeating Miranda Maverick in a dominating performance. I mean, where Miranda is no slouch. She's a really good contender in the flyweight division. Miranda Maverick is so underrated. She's had really good performances. She's already had a really good UFC career. So I'm happy what she's done so far. But from what Jasmine's done recently, she's putting on really good, strong performances where she looks dynamic on the feet, dynamic on the ground, her wrestling, everything. She's throwing out submissions, chokes, all that stuff. And to do that against a girl like Miranda Maverick and really break her, because that's kind of what she did. You can see Miranda's face in the third round. She looked broken. She looked like she was out of options. So that was really impressive for Jasmine. So, I mean, she's going to be getting another really good opponent moving forward. And Miranda, I don't think that she should take too much on this. I think this highlights just how good Jasmine is, not to where Miranda has fallen. Because I think that this is just showing how good Jasmine. She looks better every single time. She looks stronger every single time, sharper every single time. I like to see what she's going to do moving forward. Same thing with both girls. I don't think Miranda should really take this too heavy. Next, we had Ayman Zahabi defeating Ariki Lang in a savage knockout. I mean, his head bounced off the canvas. And Zahabi, who's dangerous, he's the brother of Coach Faraz. And he goes out there and he puts on good performances. He has good finishing abilities. Obviously, his brother is one of the greatest minds in all of MMA. But you don't see a lot of consistency. It's hard for him to stay healthy. And that's been like his biggest enemy. But to get a really good knockout victory, I mean, he really put Ariki Lang's eyes out. He shut that dude off. And for him to get that fast, I'm really excited what they're going to see with him moving forward, especially at bantamweight. There's a lot of interesting fights that they can do at 135. So congratulations to Ayman Zahabi on a fantastic first round finish. I can't talk here, guys. Sorry. Kyle Nelson defeated Blake Builder in the featherweight division in a fight where Kyle really had to bite down on his mouthpiece, show why he's the veteran. and defeated an undefeated prospect in Blake Builder, where Blake had a good first round. He was hurting Kyle. He was damaging Kyle. He was out there putting on the pressure. Kyle in the second round, he really showed his veteran ability, how he was able to slow the fight down, just kind of make Blake miss and make him pay, and really just kind of show his veteran savvy ability, why that he's been in the UFC for so long. Because Kyle Nelson, I think, is 1-5 before that fight, or 1-4 before that fight. There's a reason why the UFC keeps him in there, because he is a good fighter. He has a good ability, and he showed that here, where he defeated a really good up-and-coming undefeated prospect in Blake Builder. Kyle, I'm not really sure what they're going to do with him moving forward. I'm not sure how many fights he has left on his contract, but he definitely earned to keep his job at that last fight. Next up, we had Steven Ursig defeated David Dvorak by unanimous decision in a fight where he was the big underdog. David, he was coming off of 2 losses in a row, but he's been fighting killers in the flyweight division. That's all he's been fighting. He's looked good. He's got a good record. He's battle tested. And going against a guy like Steven Ursig, not a lot of people saw him. Not a lot of people knew a lot about him. But he went out there and with nothing to lose and took the fight to David. And he was getting pieced up a lot early on, but he was able to, I think it was the first round, but rounds 2 and 3, he was just really able to break David and just put on the pressure and just show a battle of wills, a battle of heart, and show that he wanted that way more. And he was earned a very good victory as the underdog. So I'm sure if anybody bet on him, they had a pretty nice little payout. So welcome to the UFC, Steven Ursig. And David Dvorak, that's 3 in a row now. I'm not really sure what they're going to do with him. That might put him in a rough spot with the UFC. They might let him go, especially with him being on the early prelims nowadays. And then last but not least, we had Diana Belbita defeating Maria Oliveira in a fight that I was on my way home from work, so I really didn't see the fight. But I remember watching it. I remember seeing Diana kind of get the better of the other girl, but I really just can't say enough to watch the fight. No disrespect. I've seen both of them fight before. So, but Diana, it's a good fight for her. I know she's kind of been a little up and down with the UFC, so I know that she needed that victory. And Maria, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with her moving forward. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. I really can't really comment on the fight that I didn't really see. So, guys, that's going to do it for me today on my UFC 289 post-fight breakdown. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think and what you guys think is going to happen moving forward with these guys. Love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section. Guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. That's going to do it for today. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.